Hi guys and welcome back to That Effing Guy, and today we're going to do a full review of 28 Years Later. So after, what has it been? When was the last one? When was 28 Weeks Later? 2007. So 18. So after 18 years, well, actually, no, because Danny Boyle only directed the first one, 28 Days Later. He did actually direct, I tell a lie, he did actually direct the opening sequence with Robert Carlyle and all that kind of stuff. Fucking superb opening. What a brutal, savage opening. He got a well-deserved fucking savage end, you know. But, so it's been 23 years then? Yeah, 23. So it's been 23 years since Danny Boyle directed 28 Days Later, and now he's returning to direct 28 years later. He has returned, obviously, with Alex Garland returning to write the script. So 28 years later, I went to see last week in the opening weekend, and I done a quick review that you can see in my shorts, where I was kind of like, it's good, but I wasn't quite sure. Like, I really enjoyed it, but there was moments where I was like, okay. Um, Reading into it more and having more thinking about it and all that kind of stuff, and just watching other reviewers and reading into more the themes and what really was going on, etc. I've turned to really, really fucking loving it. Really loving it. Like it's really, really good. It's a solid, solid fucking sequel. I gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I started at 4 stars because it was still a solid sequel. But then I was like, give it that half star more. This is going to be a spoiler review, of course, so please don't watch this if you haven't watched the movie. So, 28 years later, starring Jodie Comer, Ralph Fiennes, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and the kid. What's the kid called? I forgot the name of the kid already. Alfie Williams, who I want to say stole the show. A lot of people are saying that Ralph Fiennes stole the show. Alfie Williams stole the show. God damn, that kid was good. Like who'd have thought that we'd be rooting for a kid through a now. It's not a zombie. I mean, I did say that 28 Days Later is a zombie film, right? I'd have said that 28 Years Later is a zombie film, but it's. I've seen a lot of people being like, it's not a zombie film. It's a movie about the infection, and I'm like, zombies, infected humans. It's the same fucking thing, right? Let's not go artsy fartsy on the terminology, right? So pretty much, it's a straightforward story though. So a boy goes hunting. So Spike goes hunting with his dad, Jamie. But his dad makes him out. So they go on their first hunt to the mainland because where they're living, they live in Holy Island, and it's a very secluded area where they've tried to rebuild this community, saving the community and all that kind of stuff. They've got the causeway that bridges the gap between the main island, the mainlands, and Holy Island. So they're living on that. They're living not so much in the dark ages, but it is very basic. They're rationing the water, rationing the food, all that kind of stuff. So, and it's funny though because it's 28 years after the pandemic, so that takes you to about what 2030. So the fact that they're living even further in only 6 years into the future than us, and they're like living way back in like the 60s to an extent. It's I love I loved the island. I loved all that kind of stuff. I loved the fact that like Spike, young Spike, 12-year old Spike was going out hunting with his dad for the first time. And it's done very dark ages, like the firstborn son's got to prove himself as a warrior. You know what I mean? To then be like, his dad's like, that's my boy. They get into a little bit of there's a lot of obviously, zombie stuff on the island. They get chased down by a zombie, the alpha zombie who's got the biggest cock I've ever seen. We do know it's all prosthetics. We do know that all the naked zombies, because the zombies are now all naked in this. We do know that it's all fake. It's all fake boobs and all that kind of stuff. It's all prosthetics due to the fact that Danny Boyle, the director, confirmed this due to the fact there was a kid on set, so they couldn't have naked people running about. It's not the 1980s anymore, guys. So it's all prosthetics. But I see a lot of people complaining, why are the zombies all naked? I get it. My theory is, I don't think it's ever been spoken about so far, but my theory is they're that rotted away that their clothes have rotted away. I think that's what I'm taking from that. Yeah, so the alpha zombie or the alpha infected has the biggest willy you've ever seen. There's been so many memes of it, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you pop one up on the screen right now, it's hilarious. But you're like, God damn. So they end up coming across him and his little, band of infected, and shit hits the fan. But it's all done beautifully because obviously we know the movie, the entire movie was filmed on the iPhone 15. Now, when you say that, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's on the iPhone 15 or iPhone, whatever it is, anyway, the iPhone anyway." Yes, to a degree, but the actual rigging, the fucking massive lens, because I've seen some behind the scene pictures, like that's what makes the film look the way it is. It's not just the iPhone. It's not just people's just. It's just been Danny Ball's been like this action. It's been filmed on massive, cinematic rigs with big ass fucking lenses and all that kind of stuff. So that's why it looks the way it looks. But in saying that though, so because they're filming in so many angles with the iPhones, I wasn't a massive fan of a few of the zombie kills or the kills of we'll call them infected. I wasn't a massive fan of the way they killed them. So they use arrows, they use bow and arrows because no guns makes less noise, all that kind of stuff. So sort of that kind of thing from all zombie films, where it's like let's try and be as quiet as possible. So like Jamie will fire an arrow and it'll go towards the infected, and then it'll be a quick kind of to the back to see the arrow come out the other side. It's cool, but it was very kind of distracting at times. It's that kind of like, I don't know. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It's cool enough. So Jamie takes his son Spike on his hunt. The Islanders are like, he's not 14 or 15 yet. It should be for a 14-year-old, 15-year-old. He's too young. And Jamie's like, nope, he's my boy. He knows what he's doing. On that note as well, I should actually mention the mum, Jamie's wife, Spike's mum, Jodie Comer, Isla, she's been left behind because she's sick. She's got something wrong with her. We don't know what it is until later on. Well, Rafe finds his doctor character, the mad doctor. He thinks it is brain cancer or brain tumor. So, absolute heartbreaking sequence. Like I said, it's a spoiler review, so we'll get into that. So, Spike on his first hunt is just like he bags a zombie or two. We'll just call them zombies, but fuck it. He bags a zombie or two, I think, if I'm correct. It definitely one. I think he does do two. But he's very like he's shaken up. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He knows he's a kid. He knows he's still a kid to the point where he literally has a red Power Ranger in his bedroom. More specifically, an Operation Overdrive Red Power Ranger in his action figure in his bedroom. He's going to take it with him, but he's like, no, do you know what? I'm a man now. I ain't doing that. But he's not a man. He's a fucking kid. Let's be honest. He's still a child. He is literally 10 years older than my daughter. He's a child. So Spike, like, knows he's a failure, but he's not a failure. He's just a kid. It's not as if he's a 24-year-old man. And it's like, Jesus Christ, son, you're 24. You should know what you're doing right now. I mean, I'm 34 and I don't even know what I'm doing with my life, to be honest. So they come back and they are celebrating. Good old massive party to celebrate Spike and Jamie's return. Yes, Spike saved the day. You should have seen him. He bagged so many amount of zombies. It was unbelievable. The man's a hero. The boy's a hero. But Spike knows I'm not a hero. All that kind of stuff. Jamie is this kind of dad, this kind of guy who loves to just add to stories and make stories sound better. I mean, you all do. My dad does it. I try and do it and I just sound fucking stupid. But they've all done it. You all do it though. You add to a story to make it funnier, to make it better sounding, and all that kind of stuff. So he's very much that kind of guy, which I get that. So we then find out that Jamie is kind of doing the dirty on his wife and is sort of sleeping with the local whore. We'll just say that. So Spike finds out, and just he tells his dad, "Get the fuck." He actually says to dad, "Fuck off" or "Get the fuck" or whatever. And I sat there and I've been like, "Wow, this boy is really like all of a sudden transitioned to a man to have balls to tell your dad to f off." Like it took me till I was 21 to tell my dad to do that, and even then I was like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry," and I ran. So like that at that moment you realize he is trying to protect his mum because they talk about going to see the mad doctor that they know of, But Jamie and the rest of the Islanders are like, nope, he's a mad doctor, all that kind of stuff. He's a psychopath. Turns out he's not. He's actually really, he's very fine, nice guy. So Spike, being the protector of his mother, because he thinks his dad is just would rather she dies than do anything for her. Sorry, rather than do anything for her. Spike and his mom flee the island. Um, and one of the head villagers at the start of the film, when Jamie and Spike leave for the island, do prepare Spike and say, you're free to leave the island at any time you want. It's your choice, but know that if you don't come back, whether you die or you just chose not to come back, we will not come for you. No one will come and find you because it's too dangerous. Fair enough. So Spike taking his mum and fleeing the island at night is like, wow, like like this is it. This is it. Like nobody's gonna get you. So they go through the mainland. His mom is just her brain's all over the place. She thinks it Spike's his dad, her dad, sorry. And he just basically comforts her and just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna accept it as your mom's. She's not well right now. They meet a Swedish soldier who is from, obviously he's been sent to kind of like to I think because there's a set of soldiers. I think this is the opening sequence or some point in the film. Oh, that's right. The opening sequence is the scene in the trailer with the Teletubbies and all that kind of stuff, and it turns out that's Jimmy because we see signs of like Jimmy was here and he's coming, and one of the zombies that Spike and his dad run into is hanging upside down. It just says Jimmy, so you're just like, who is this Jimmy? Thinking, is it Jim? Is it Cillian Murphy's character Jim? But we know that he doesn't pop up until predominantly a massive role in the third part if it gets commissioned. But he's got a small role at the very end of part two, the Bone Temple coming in January 2026. But you then later find out that the rest of the world is carrying on as per usual. Nothing has happened. Nothing is the world's just they've wiped the infection out, and it's now just Britain. It's now just mainland Britain that's infected, that is stuck in bases in a shit. It's in the Dark Ages still. So he shows like Spike like his mobile phone, and Spike is just like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Mobile phone. What the hell is that?" And because obviously Spike was born during the pandemic, the infection, the pandemic, and all that kind of stuff. So he has no clue, no idea what TV is, mobile phones are, specifically lip injections or lip fillers, because the Swedish dude, the Swedish soldier, shows him his girlfriend or his wife, and wee Spike is just like, "Why is her lips like that?" And he's just like, "What are you talking about?" Because obviously he's never seen like lip fillers and plastic surgery and all that kind of stuff. And he says something. Spike says something about that. It's like the girl on our island where she eats fish and her lips blow up, and he's just like, "Fucking, there you go." Well, this whole time, Jodie Comer's character Isla is just speaking gibberish, and he's just like, and the Swedish soldier's just like, "She's a fucking nut job." He's like, "She's not well, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Oh fuck, here we go." So he then helps him, all that kind of stuff. Doesn't want to do it, but he does it anyway. They then encounter the alpha infected, the alpha zombie, and it's like, shit, 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 shit. They then hear screaming coming from one of the abandoned trains. They go on, and we find a pregnant, infected woman, and it's like, wow. And she's screaming, but she's kind of like, because she's full on pregnant. And Isla, being a mother, being a woman, goes and supports her and holds her hands and just kind of, because she's just so, there's so much rage inside her because it's a rage virus, so much rage inside her, but she holds her hands. And at that moment, you have this human moment where the infected woman, pregnant woman, like has this kind of one to one with Jodie Comer's character Isla, and it was so touching. And then the baby comes out, and you see the baby full view. You see it pop out, and it's not infected, and you're just like, whoa. And Ray finds his character, Doctor. I keep forgetting his name again. Is it Kelson? I think it's Doctor Kelson. Yeah, Doctor Ian Kelson. He when they go to his lair, essentially his Fortress of Solitude, which is built by the skeletons and the bones of the dead. He then says that it's quite simply just a miracle. So he's very religious and very much just like it's a miracle. So I'm sure as shit the Bone Temple is Kelson's sanctuary. I think it is, if I'm correct. I'm assuming that's the Bone Temple because I don't think he ever has a name for it. But he's very religious and very much just like life is life and all that kind of stuff. And Dr. Kelson says that he says this quote, this Latin quote. Now I'm going to butcher this. Memento mori, which is Latin for remember that you have to die or remember to die. So it's just what an impactful line of dialogue, though, that I've clearly butchered, but hey ho, it is what it is. So he tells Jodie Comer's character Isla that yes, he would say from her, from what he can tell from her signs and symptoms, I believe you got a brain tumor, and it's heartbreaking because, and I genuinely did cry by the way, because Spike is just like, no, you need to save my mum, and he's like, I can't, she's too far gone. Now I don't have any proper medical equipment, but I believe she's got brain cancer or brain tumor and she's too far gone to get treated. Not that I could even treat her. So it's a heartbreaking moment. It really is. So they've got this baby. So sorry. So Spike has been left with this baby. Kelso fires a dart into his back because Isla's holding him and the baby. Kelson fires a dart into the back of Spike. Well, more it's a shot of morphine just to basically calm him down because he is literally hysterical, and you're just like, fucking hell, man! I'm breaking my heart watching this. Like, who'd have thought you'd go and see a zombie movie and be breaking your heart at this moment? Such a touching moment. It's very family orientated, though. You know, it's very family orientated. That's what Alex Garland said. This one's very family orientated. And in the next part, the Bone Temple, is where they reintroduce evil. You know, as in like the human side. Because obviously, what we got from 28 Days Later was Christopher Eccleston and his band of brothers, his army soldiers, who were bad bastards, who were like nasty stuff, right? And that's what carries on in like The Walking Dead. Like it's humanity that's more scary than the infected, at times. And clearly that's what they're going to do because we got the reveal of an ending, but I'll talk about that as we get there. Kelson takes Isla's life calmly and as peacefully as he could, and he goes and he burns her body and he washes her skull and he gives the skull to Spike, who is now recovered. He's now calm. He's kind of came to the realization that it was the best thing for her because she was in pain. And he takes her skull and he mounts it on top of this big, massive, like sculpture in the middle of the Kelson's Bone Temple, or memorial ground of like the dead. And he puts it right in the top, and it then also because there's a poster of Spike walk climbing up and I put a skull on top. It's now got so much more meaning. You're just like, oh shit, who'd have thought that was Jodie Comer's character's skull? Like Jesus Christ. And the music playing it was just so heartbreakingly beautiful, really was. So then Spike leaves the kid with Kelson or takes the baby with him. I can't remember. But he leaves Kelson anyway because he realizes that. Oh no, he doesn't. Sorry, he does. He takes the kid and he leaves it. He goes back across the causeway and leaves it at the gates of Holy Island with a note saying this baby was born out of an infected pregnant woman. It's not infected. It's all good, and it's called Isla. And you're just like, oh my god, he's called Isla. So then Jamie realizes, where's my wife? Where's my kid? Because it's funny though, because the whole time of Spike and his mother, you were like, where's Aaron Taylor Johnson? Is Jamie just like, what the fuck's going on? Does he not even like, like, where the fuck's the dad? And because it was obviously, I don't think he even had a clue what was going. I can't remember how it went again, but he was just like, "Where's my boy?" So he ran out and ran along the causeway, He just kind of broke down, was just like, so it leaves him there. So we then get to 28 days later, and Spike is doing fine. He's walking down a pathway surrounded by hills and grass, and it's gorgeous looking. The whole film is shot beautifully. And he's then chased by one of the infected, a zombie infected. We're too far in the video now to actually care. And out of fucking nowhere, he's saved by British actor Jack O'Connell, who is Jimmy, who was the kid at the very beginning of the film watching Teletubbies. He's now older, and he's dressed pretty much like Jimmy Savile, and he has his pals with him, who are literally something out of Power Rangers, because they start doing these flips and kicks, and it's like go Power Rangers, literally. I've seen a lot of people actually like put the music over the scene, and they're going crazy, and they're fucking fighting the zombies and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, it's like, what the fuck is going on? One, they're fighting and jumping about like Power Rangers, and two, they're all dressed like Jimmy Savile, especially Jimmy himself, Jack O'Connell. And he's like, all right, my name's Jimmy. Let's be pals, so let's be friends. And you're just like, I know bad convincing Scottish accent from Jack O'Connell, but I'm just like, so I knew there was a controversial ending, but I didn't know the context of he looks like Jimmy fucking Savile. Now, going into that, there is obviously, so I'll go into what my thoughts were leaving that, and before because everyone else has kind of said near enough the same thing. I think what's happened is, now we know that 28 Days Later was set around 2002 when the film came out. That whole situation with Jimmy Savile never came out until about another 10 years or so, until he died in 2011, I think it was. So as it stands, life was still pretty normal in terms of that never came out. But it's just a bold fucking twisty choice to have that, you know? Very, very. You could have picked anyone. You could have had it that they were fans of Power Rangers before the world went to shit, and that's why they're doing a fucking flippy shit. But no, we're we're led to assume that that Jimmy, Sir Jimmy, that which is called in the film, was a fan of Jimmy Savile. So the ending is questionable, and that's why I'm only going to give it 4.5 stars, because that last half a star, I'm just like, oh, I would have done that. And there's a lot of people pissed off with that. There's a lot of people pissed off the fact that we're now supposedly, according to Alex Garland, we're following the Jimmy Gang a hell of a lot more. They're going to be a big player in part two, which is really getting fans very, very worried. I'm the exact same. I'm a bit kind of worried as well. But yeah. But yeah, overall, I thought the film was fucking fantastic. I really, really did. I loved the whole fact that there was essentially three chapters. And obviously, we know that movies have 3 acts, but it felt like we had 3 acts. We had Spike and his dad, Spike and his mom, and Spike and the mad doctor, Kelson, who turned out to be a nice guy, actually. So yeah, I thought 28 Years Later was spectacular. I really did. I thought it was a grand return to the 28 universe franchise. Cannot wait till the Bone Temple comes out. I'm assuming 28 Years Later has surpassed expectations at the box office so far, in its opening weekend, and we'll get a third one commissioned very, very soon, because that's what they're waiting on. They're just waiting for funding. Which you think, why are you, Danny Boyle, the director that you are, the esteemed director that you are waiting on funding? But hey ho. But yeah, 28 years later, what did you guys think? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? What are your thoughts on the ending? Comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.